Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Maneater Bug Prediction Princess Shaddoll deck profile. So I am really excited for this one because it's actually for Izzy's 1-year anniversary for being a patron. This is something special that I actually wanted to put together to show another way that you could actually use Maneater Bug in a deck because it's actually his favorite card in the entire game. This card is really interesting in this particular deck. It really works out in this particular build, and actually the really cool thing is Izzy actually sent me this particular Maneater Bug, this first edition holographic LOB Maneater Bug to use for deck profiles, and I am really excited to use it for you guys and say thank you so much, Izzy, for actually sending this to the DarkArmedDuelist PO box. If you guys would like to send anything into the DarkArmedDuelist PO box, the address is down in the description below as well, which is just really cool that he actually sent this in and I got to use it for a deck profile. So anyways guys, thank you Izzy so much for being a patron, and let's get straight on this. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come bar notifications, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name in the description of every single video, getting a signed card to the mail, and even getting into your requested deck profile every single month you're a patron, along with test hands. And definitely give Izzy some love down in the comments down below. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Maneater Bug, especially that awesome LOB first edition one. And basically what Maneater Bug does is when it's flipped face up, you can destroy a monster on the field, which is a pretty simple effect, but it can be pretty devastating in a deck like this that can just flip-flop your monsters face up and face down. We then play 2 copies of Noble Maneater Bug. When it's flipped face up, you get to target 2 monsters on the field and destroy them. So this card's really good as well to just pop monsters on the field. It's actually pretty good in this deck because sometimes you will need level 9, and this card plus a level 4 actually gives you the 9 to ritual summon out your Prediction Princess ritual monster. Plays 2 copies of Pot of the Forbidden. This card's pretty good too. What it does is it actually, when it's flipped face up, you get to activate 1 of 4 effects. You either get to draw 2, return all spells and traps on the field to the hand, destroy all monsters your opponent controls, or look at your opponent's hand and shuffle 1 card from their hand into the deck. You can only use the effect of this card once per turn, but playing 2 of this card is pretty good because you want to see it so you can actually use it with your Prediction Princess ritual monster. We play a single copy of Morphing Jar. When it's flipped face up, both players discard their entire hand and then draw 5 new cards, which is pretty good in this particular deck to just be able to instantly draw 5 cards. I love that particular effect about this card and helps out the deck a lot. We play 3 copies of Spirit of the Fall Wind. This card actually comes in really handy as well because it actually searches Maneater Bug. You can actually normal summon this card and it will search out your copies of your Maneater Bug or search out your other monsters that are flip effect monsters in this particular deck. Even any of your Shaddoll monsters. The only unfortunate effect of this card is that you don't have a good wind target to actually fusion summon into in your extra deck. So this card is basically just a normal summon and then use it for rank 4s or link plays or stuff like that. We then play 3 copies of Manju of the 10,000 Hand. Now, Manju of the 10,000 Hand is really good in the deck because it actually searches out your copies of your Prediction Princess ritual monster and your Prediction Princess ritual spell cards. This card comes in really handy. For the Shaddolls, we're playing 2 copies of Windy. Windy is really good as a 2 of in here. You can play her at 3. I just like playing 2 copies of her. Basically what she does is when she's flipped face up, you can special summon a Shaddoll monster from your deck in face up or face down defense, and if she's sent to the graveyard, then you have the ability to special summon a Shaddoll monster from your deck in face down defense. Play a single copy of Ariel. Ariel's really good too. If she's flipped face up, you can target a banished Shaddoll, special summon it in face up or face down defense, and if she's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you get to target up to 3 cards in your graveyard or in the graveyards and banish them, which is pretty good. Play a single copy of Shaddoll Genius. Shaddoll Genius is pretty good as a 1 of in here. When you flip it face up, you get to target a Shaddoll monster you control, and that face up monster is unaffected by other monster effects except its own. And if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you get to target an effect monster on the field, and neither player can activate that target's effects while it's on the field, which is pretty good. We then play 1 copy of Shaddoll Beast because basically if it's flipped face up, you get to draw 2, discard 1, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to draw a card. 1 copy of Shaddoll Dragon. If it's flipped face up, you bounce a opponent's card back to their hand. If it's sent to the graveyard, you get to target a spell or trap on the field and pop it. 2 copies of Squamata. Squamata is really good in this deck. If this card is flip face up, you target a card on the field and destroy it. So it's kind of like another Maneater Bug. And it also has the ability to, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you send another Shaddoll card from your deck to the grave as well. 1 copy of Hedgehog. Hedgehog comes in handy because if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Shaddoll spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Shaddoll monster. If it's flip face up, you get to add a Shaddoll spell or trap, which is pretty good. Falco, if it's flip face up, you revive a Shaddoll from your graveyard and face down defense. And if it is sent to the graveyard, then you get to special summon this card back and face down defense. Now, the important thing to keep in mind about all of your Shaddoll monsters is they all share the same effect that you can only activate either or of their effects per turn. You can't get both. That is something to keep in mind as you're playing the deck. So you have to kind of play strategically with your Shaddoll monsters. So we're then going to be playing 3 copies of Prediction Princess Konrama. Konrama is really good because when she's flip face up, you get special summon a level 3 or higher flip effect monster from your hand or deck and face down defense, which can actually bring out your copy of your Nobleman Eater Bug, or it can actually bring out your copy of the Pot of the Forbidden, which is really good, or even Shaddoll Beast or any of your other monsters. This card's really, really good in this particular deck. We then play 3 copies of the Prediction Princess Ritual Monster. This card comes in very, very handy in this build. It is a level 9 ritual monster, but it has a really neat effect that basically you can ritual summon this card with Prediction Ritual, and then during the end phase, you can special summon a flip effect monster in your hand or graveyard and face down defense position. And it also has the ability that you can activate either of these effects during either player's turn. During either player's turn, you get to target one face-down monster on the field and change it to face-up attack, or during either player's turn, you get to target one face-up monster on the field and change it to face-down defense. You only get either of those effects once per turn. So basically, during the middle of your opponent's turn, if you have a Man-Eater Bug set, you can actually flip it and then be able to destroy a monster on the field, which is pretty good. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of the Prediction Princess Ritual spell. This card basically is just here to ritual summon out your copy of your Prediction Princess Ritual monster. And it helps out a lot in this deck too, because you can actually, during the main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you get to banish it to add 1 Prediction Princess monster from your deck to your hand, which is pretty good. We then play 3 copies of Shaddoll Fusion. Shaddoll Fusion is basically here to go into all your fusion plays in the entire deck. If your opponent controls a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, you can use monsters from your main deck as well, which is pretty good. Play 3 copies of El Shaddoll Fusion as well. El Shaddoll Fusion is a quick play fusion spell, so it actually comes in pretty handy. You can actually set this card, and then mid your opponent's turn, you can fusion summon into like a copy of Winda or Construct, depending on reading the situation of what you need. We play 3 copies of Pre-Prep of Rites. Pre-Prep of Rites is really good in the deck too, because it lets you add a ritual spell or a ritual spell and a ritual monster that are on the same text. So basically, this card lists your ritual monster in its text, so you can actually add both of these from your deck to your hand, which is really, really good. So that's it for the spell cards. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing a single copy of Shaddoll Schism and a single copy of Shaddoll Incarnation. Basically, these are here because this is basically a Miracle Fusion, and this combos off with Ariel. What this card does is during the main phase, you can fusion summon a Shaddoll Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing the fusion materials listed on it from your field or graveyard, but it can't attack directly. And then you can also send to the graveyard 1 monster your opponent controls with the same attribute as the fusion summon monster, which you have Light, Earth, and Dark in this particular deck, which is actually the 3 most supported typings in the game, so it's really easy to actually send a monster to the graveyard with this effect. Then the Shaddoll Incarnation is really good because you can combo it with Ariel, because it has the ability that you can target a Shaddoll monster in the graveyard, special summon it, and you can also banish this card and another Shaddoll monster in the graveyard, which is usually going to be your Construct, to be able to flip a face down monster on your side of the field face up, or flip a face up monster on your side of the field face down, which usually is the Ariel, to then revive back one of your constructs that you just banished to activate this effect, which is a part of a combo. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're playing 3 copies of El Shaddoll Construct. Construct is insanely good. Whenever she's fusion summoned, you get to send from your deck to the graveyard a Shaddoll card, which is pretty good. At the start of the damage step, if she battles a special summon monster, you destroy that opponent's monster. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to target a Shaddoll spell or trap in your graveyard and add it back to your hand, which can actually come in really clutch in this deck. And this card is really, really good. We play 2 copies of Winda. Winda is really good as well, because basically what Winda does for the deck is it makes it so neither player can special summon more than once per turn, and if she cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either, which is really good. And she has the ability to recover a Shaddoll spell or trap from the graveyard and add it back to your hand if she's sent to the graveyard. 1 copy of Shikanaga. Shikanaga is also very good for the deck. This card is really, really, really easy to summon. It must be fusion summoned, and during either player's turn, when a special summon monster would activate its effect while you have a Shaddoll in your your hand. You negate the activation to destroy that monster, then send a Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard. You must effect this card once per turn, and it can also recover a Shaddoll spell or trap from your graveyard back to your hand. Then we play a single copy of Shaddoll, Apokalon. Apokalon is really good. It takes 2 Shaddoll monsters with different attributes to actually summon this card. It's pretty easy, cannot be destroyed by battle, and also has the ability that when this card is fusion summoned, if this card is special summoned, you can target a face-up card on the field, negate its effect, or send from your deck to the graveyard, or add a Shaddoll spell or trap, or add any Shaddoll card from your deck to your graveyard to your hand, and then you have to discard a card, which is pretty good. We play a single copy of Access Code Talker just to give us additional pops on the field. 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, because this card is, again, very easy to summon and is just a really good boss monster. 1 copy of Unicorn to spin stuff, Phoenix to pop spells and traps, 1 copy of Shaddoll Construct just in case you need it. It's kind of here if you need it. You usually don't link summon into it, but it's also a different typing for your Access Code Talker. 1 copy of IP Masquerena, because the IP Masquerena can actually link summon during your opponent's turn, which is pretty helpful to go into your copy of Unicorn. Cross Sheep, because it's a fusion deck, so Cross Sheep's effect that gets to special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard is really good for this deck. And then a single copy of Gravity Controller, because you can use the Gravity Controller in combo with the Construct, because you can actually fusion summon the Construct, send to graveyard a copy of Schism, and then link summon into the Gravity Controller if it's in the extra monster zone, which will then recover your copy of Schism, which then during the next turn you can actually go into a Apokalon, your copy of your Winda, or your copy of your Construct, which is really good. And this is basically walking compulsory evacuation device, which is really good for this deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This one was a really special one. I wanted to do something special for Izzy for his 1-year anniversary for being a patron. It's really a cool deck. I really love the way that it turned out to actually play Maneater Bug in a Shaddoll deck, which is something that I've wanted to do for a while. And once the new Maneater Bug comes out, maybe we can actually do something with the new one as well. The Mesmerizing Maneater Bug, I believe is what it's called, or Mimicryizing. I don't remember what it's called, but it's the new Maneater Bug card. And I really wanted to do something with the card that Izzy actually sent me because it's just so cool. And again, if you guys want to send anything to the DarkArmedDuelist P.O. Box, it is down in the description below, just like Izzy. I'll definitely open it for you guys and send you a message about it. I'm really excited to actually, see what you guys send in. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below. And we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.